This is if I did the marketing for Marty Supreme. I want to put a disclaimer that I'm going to look at the camera. I'm going to put a disclaimer that I have a problem with the advertising industry complex. I'm not going to go into what my problems are, but let it be known that I do have a problem. With that being said, this is what I would do for the marketing of Marty Supreme. So my first idea, I'm not going to look into the camera anymore. I'm going to look at myself. So my first idea is a matchbook, because matchbooks were not to be confused with matchboxes. Matchbooks are far more fun, in my opinion, and I collect them and I think they're really great. And they were really popular as like an advertising technique for different companies to use. So they'd put like their number, and then it would just be like art and different types of things on these matchbooks. And because they were matchbooks, like I'll put images of what matchbooks are, but they were much thinner to carry around than a matchbox. And so it's easy. And so what I would do is the box for the ping pongs, I would do the design of that on matchbooks, and I'd make the matches themselves, the tips orange. I do have a matchbook where the tips are orange. So I'm going to put a picture of that too. I would do that, and like maybe designs of Marty, like different illustrations of Marty and Marty doing things. Ooh, a matchbook where, ooh, a double one where it's, what's his name? So I would do a matchbook, doubles, of one Koto Endo and then one of Marty Supreme. And yeah, and they would come as like a pack. So, but because their matchbooks are thin, so it still would be fine to like carry around. But they come as a pack, and then that's promotional material like out at the cinemas prior to the movie coming out as promotional material that you can pick up. Marty Supreme, Marty Supreme. And also because the movie itself, given the era and all of that, has so much smoking in it, so many cigarettes, so it makes sense to have a matchbook. You see where I'm going. I would do that. Second thing, kind of related to that, but like this is just because I think it's fun, and I think of Saul, and I like Saul Goodman, and Marty Supreme kind of reminds me of Saul Goodman in the like I will do whatever it takes to get what I want. Cutouts of Marty like this, and like in Saul Goodman-esque advertising, but it's Marty Supreme. I just think that would be a lot of fun. I think that's another thing I would do. What else would I do? I remember the thing in relation to the matchbooks, cigarette cards, because cigarette cards are also a thing which I also collect and I love. Cigarette cards would have information about anything, something. And for example, one might be about I have one that's about like apple farming and apple preservation, and yeah, so and that has nothing to do with the cigarettes related to like the cigarette card itself. The cigarette cards just have information about things and illustrations that don't have anything to do with cigarettes, just as something to go with the cigarettes that you're buying to make it more interesting and fun. And so I think that's something else that I would do. Cigarette cards about Marty Supreme, like about him and slash or about the movie. Promotional cigarette cards. Again, links to the cigarettes in the movie and the era and all that stuff. So I would do that. I think that's what I would stick at, just those things, because they relate the best, I feel like, to the actual, not to necessarily the full story, but to the movie in a way that it makes sense. This makes sense. This has a place. It's not just like, and it's fun. So that's what I would do if I was doing some marketing for Marty Supreme and slash or fan created things, which I'm not gonna do that, but because that's a different thing. But that's what I would do. Yeah. Bye bye.